Hello Mzansi, and welcome to episode 177 of Farmers Inside Track. I'm your host, Donumdu. Now, from rooftop and indoor farming to hydroponics and aquaponics, Mzansi's young farmers are grabbing opportunities in agriculture and food production. And in this edition, we connect with Zandile Khumalo, the CEO of Neighbour Roots rooftop hydroponics farm, and Lance Quiding, founder and CEO of Integrated Aquaculture. Zandile kicks us off with an introduction of their farming business model and how it's tackling the challenges we face as a country when it comes to dealing with climate change and food waste, to list a few.
Neighbour Roots is a fresh food company farming with the future in mind. We farm in greenhouses. We farm using different types of hydroponic systems. And one of the farms that we have is on the rooftop of Morningside Shopping Centre, just down Rivonia Road. Our aim as Neighbour Roots is to pave our way through building and operating smart hydroponic tunnels or greenhouses commercially on a scale on these unutilized rooftop spaces across our country. So our approach is to reduce the issues that we face as a country or in our agricultural space, like climate change, food waste, and also carbon emissions. And we do this through our model where we farm on these rooftops and we supply directly into the shopping center. So basically our market is directly underneath us. We are able to supply urban dwellers. We are able to also supply fine dining restaurants, and we are also able to supply the retail stores that we have into the shopping center through our fresh, high quality produce to basically demonstrate the important role of urban farming within the food system that we have in our country. So with that, we are committed to be able to waiver these type of farming principles through our private sectors and also the government, so that we can bring a positive change within our world.
Lance talks more about their business and approach to innovate with future-focused farming practices.
We have a aquaponics farm in Hekwood in Galisberg, and aquaponics is essentially fish farming on one side. We farm fish in a system. We produce at the moment about 800 kilograms a month, and we're building up to 3 tons per month. And on the other side, we've got vegetables. And the vegetables, we're currently doing about 4 tons a month, and that is also growing. So it is a decoupled system where we've got 3 businesses really. We've got a business that does fish, a business that does vegetables, and in the middle is a piece that does mineralization. We produce all our own fertigation for our vegetables from our fish waste.
He continues to list some of the benefits of choosing this farming method.
We're talking about future farming really. A lot of words today were spoken about partnerships. We actually centered around the SDGs, and the SDG number 17 is partnerships. And in fact, we've got a partnership with this lady right next door to us. It is important to understand that we're doing something new. It is the vision into the future. It is the future of farming. We can do it on rooftops. We can do it on anywhere. We don't need arable land, or we don't need fertile land. You know, our business at the moment is right on the edge of profitability. It's taken us about 8 years to get to this point. In pioneering, it's quite intense, but it's been fun. And I think the future of farming that looks at the SDGs and looks at farming anywhere, including rooftops, is extremely attractive. And I think as more and more people start doing it, you know, I know we've got some folk in the crowd in Dalstrom who run an aquaponics farm. We've got UJ here with the CEI, which is a department that they just started, which is quite exciting. It's the Center for Ecological Intelligence, which is including a lot of this futuristic stuff. Huge amount of excitement in the space at the moment.
Zandile talks about why she chose hydroponics versus more traditional farming methods.
Before I started hydroponics, I started as a conventional farmer. And we get to face issues that are unpredictable, especially when you're in conventional farming. You know, when floods come, you would have a wipeout of all your production. When it comes now to hydroponics, the advantage is that we farm in these greenhouses and we don't use any soil at all. So when floods come, we're still farming. When too much heat comes, you have controlled environment. Some farms do have that. You are still farming. So your yielding per square meter in your greenhouse is quite high as a turnout compared to open field farming. That's basically one of the advantages, because it's what investors would look for when it comes to how much are you getting out of your farm as a revenue. So that's one of the biggest advantages when you come now to investors, that you are able to show a much more better revenue or yielding perspective in that. With the model that we have, like I said, we're farming on the rooftop. Supplying directly to the shopping center gives us a better market. That's the biggest thing that most farmers face and complain about, that we do not have market. We do not know where to take our produce. So because our market is directly downstairs, we just walk with our crate and we're supplying there. So that's like a tick box with the type of model that we're doing. So that's the biggest benefit for me to be farming on rooftops.
And then to close, Lance focuses on how aquaculture and specifically more intensive production can ensure we meet the demand to produce food for the rapidly growing global population.
It's more the concept of aquaponics, specifically my business. You cannot produce protein in a more intensive fashion or in a more intensive way. We're going to be producing 3 tons of meat in a less than 1,000 square meters. So when you talk about that and you talk about all the SDGs, I mean, this is probably one of the very few businesses that can comply with all 17 of the SDGs. That's unheard of. So yes, it's got a massive place in the future. And I think the more people that get into it with that realistic view and that realistic understanding of what's involved to get into it, it's going to be hugely beneficial to our country and to the world.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Farmers Inside Track. That's Zandile Khumalo, the CEO of Neighbour Roots Rooftop Hydroponics Farm, and Lance Quiding, the founder and CEO of Integrated Aquaculture. These were, of course, some of the highlights from our 2022 Food for Mzansi Young Farmers Indaba held in Sandton. If you'd like to know more about this exciting event, do go and check out our YouTube channel for more on this and for more on our weekly podcast. All right, next up is our check-in with the amazing woman selected for the Corteva Women Agripreneur 2022 program. Our soil sister is Refilwe Mokwene. She runs a hydroponic cucumber farm and tells us more about their family farming business and how they manage to farm off the grid. We're all about the hydroponics this week.
It's a family business out in Winterveld. We are in cucumber farming, hydroponic farming with cucumbers. My dad inherited farm from his parents. My grandparents bought this plot in 1950, and then my dad is one of the 3 sons from my grandparents. They were all given a plot. And then the 495, they started as sisters farmers, planting every crop you can think of: cabbage, beetroot, spinach. And then we started with 3 tunnels. We decided it was time for us to get some loans so that we can plant more and become known to the market. 2008, when we started, we immediately went into the hydroponic. We had the small little irrigating machine because it was only 3 tunnels. And then as we grew up, we got the big machines that accommodate the number of tunnels that needed to be irrigated at the time. We have 45 hydroponics tunnel in operation. We supply Tshwane Market, it's our biggest client, Spar, retail, and some hawkers that will come in and collect the produce from us. We have 20 full-time employees for now. We actually had to cut off like about 10 or so when the ESCOM issue started lately. So far, we've managed to be off the grid. That's the most important thing since the ESCOM load reduction or load schedule. We actually invested a lot of money into the solar panels so that we can be off the grid. So we are off the grid. That's a highlight for now. We harvest 4 times in a week. We have 2 refrigerated trucks and refrigerated bakkie that we use. We deliver produce ourselves to the clients. 2 months ago, we started launching the cucumber juice as well. We use the same cucumbers, the ones that are broken after harvesting. We make good use of them. It's a healthy drink, no preservative. It's got a very short shelf life, 10 days it must be consumed. So we do only small bottle, 350 ml juice to our clients, which for now we still supply to a fresh produce market with the juice and the cucumbers. Last week we started supplying the Toyota Hatfield dealership with the cucumber juice for their sales rep. I think that's sort of like a nutshell. I come from an accounting background. My parents kept on saying, I think there's a time we need to come in and work here. It was a daunting era at that time, getting used to not having a salary to narrow down and building, but we knew that there was no right time for us to come in. We needed to come in to start and invest our knowledge and money and time into the business in making it where it is now.
All the best with your farming business, Refilwe Mokwene. And thank you so much for joining us here on Farmers Inside Track. You can of course read more about her farming business and journey in this dynamic space on www.foodformzansi.co.za. And that's a wrap from me, Donumdu, and our producer Megan van der Vent, and the rest of the Food for Mzansi team. Have an absolutely amazing week. Bye for now.
Life in South Africa can be a lot. I mean, scroll through Twitter for a minute and tell me I'm wrong. Thank God for South Africans though, right? We're inspiring, and even on the bad days, we fight back with a smile. That's why I love Food for Mzansi so much. They're not ashamed to celebrate the ordinary unsung heroes who work every day to put food on our nation's tables. Go to foodformzansi.co.za and never miss an inspiring story.